Greetings and salutations. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Rocky Mountain Rankings. I'm your host, Davies Talo. And today on Rocky Mountain Rankings, we're going to delve into the album art, the album cover art of Black Sabbath. Ooh-ah. I know it's been a while since I did the video, but a lot of things been happening. Been busy. Oh, too busy. But anyway, I decided to heck with it. I'm going to do a video, try to get back in the groove of things, and we'll see where it goes. So, anyway, hope you're doing well. Hope you had a great Thanksgiving for those here in the States. Elsewhere, I hope you had a great time over the weekend. I had 4 great days off. Um, Different this year. For 2 of those days I was off, Thursday and Friday, I was still making money, which is always nice, getting paid holidays. So one of the ups of getting bought out by a different company, nothing against the former owners of Auden Lawn and Garden, where I work. Now we're Mountain Land Power. You know, but times change, and I'm not going to complain about it. But hey, I've been there for 40 years, and it is what it is. So, but anyway, before we get into this, please subscribe, like the video, hit the notification bell so you don't miss an episode, and please leave a comment down below or your own ranking of the cover art of Sabbath. I'd be interested to see it. Anyway, let's get into this, shall we? Got a lot of albums. 22, I'm going to include 2 live albums and the compilation album of We Sold Our Soul for Rock and Roll. I wasn't going to include those originally, but I thought, what the heck? Hardly anybody includes the live albums and stuff like that. And so I'm going to do it. It's my show. I can do it the way I want. So, yeah. So, 22 albums. Some of them are going to be on vinyl. The majority is going to be on CD, though I got a lot on vinyl. But the vinyls take up a lot of space here on my desk. Anyway, let's get into it, shall we? Starting with number 22, my least favorite, working out all of my favorite. So, number 22, and of course, I haven't got where I'm supposed to be here. Okay. Don't you hate it when you're not, you think you're prepared, but you're not? So, anyway, number 22, an album that was released in January of 1976. This album was released without the band's awareness by their previous manager, Patrick Meehan. They would not make any money on this release, but it was released by NEMS or NEMS. I guess that's how you would pronounce it. When they acquired Black Sabbath, they acquired the band's back catalog. Of course, the album is "We Sold Our Soul for Rock and Roll." A lot of lightning bolt S's in there. Same with the back. But the interior is kind of interesting. You open it up and you get this spooky lady. Which is kind of cool. I originally owned this on 8-track until I think it was the second album I acquired of Black Sabbath. The first one was Never Say Die, and this one, or no, I take that back. Paranoid, then this one, and Never Say Die. But I had it on 8-track until a certain friend of mine, but who will remain nameless, uh, decided he needed it worse than I, and took it and denied taking it, even though I discovered it at his house. So, anyway, kind of, I don't know about NIMS could have come up with something better than this, you would think, but I guess it puts the point across. Um, and it basically draws heavily off their first 4 albums. So, anyway, that's number 22. Um, we sold our soul for rock and roll. Okay, number 21. Released January 28th, 1986. And I remember when this came out, I was quite surprised and kind of found it strange. Number 21, Seventh Star. Nothing against Tony, but him standing out in the middle of, I would think that's the salt flats out here. I could be wrong. Kind of looks like the salt flats. You know, who knows? Maybe they're cruising through Utah and they said, "Hey, Tony, let's stop out here and take some pictures of you on the salt." So, anyway, uh, the back area, this back here, I think would have made more of a better cover, but I don't know. That's why I put it at number 21. This, if it wasn't for We Sold Our Soul for Rock and Roll, this would be dead last. So, decent album, but musical wise, but no. Art wise, nah. So, sorry, Tony. If you ever see this, I love you, man, but you look sad. You look like, I can't believe I'm standing out here in the middle of a salt desert taking pictures. I don't know. So anyway, that's my number 21. On to number 20. Alrighty. Released August 1971. Their third album, Master of Reality. Great album musical wise, but come on. Boring. Very boring. It's right there with We Sold Our Soul. I mean, it gets the point across. It tells you exactly what the album title is, who it's by, but I don't know. If I remember correctly, there's no pictures in this one. I think there was in the album or the vinyl. But anyway. Hence why it's number 20. If it wasn't for the previous 2, it'd be dead last. Okay. On to number 19. All right. This album, which was released July 28, 1975, has, well, from all the shows, other music shows I watch, it's not a well-liked album cover. It's interesting, got an interesting story behind it, but it's not good. Sabotage, and you can see why people don't like the cover very well. And the story goes is when they were told to show up at this whatever photograph studio or whatever, they weren't told there was going to be a photo shoot. So they just threw whatever they had on, or just came in whatever they were wearing. Bill Ward, he, for some reason, decided to put on his wife's pink tights, or red tights, whatever. And he didn't have any, he wasn't wearing any underwear. So he had to borrow some from, I think from Ozzy. So, and Ozzy's wearing this kimono or whatever. The only ones that decently dressed is Tony and Geezer. The back is a little bit better, but this is why a lot of times when you have a band on the cover, it doesn't work. I'm sorry. Good, great album. I love this album. I mean, it's just stellar, but it just no. Especially Bill. I remember when I first saw this, when I had this again on 8-track when I first bought it in the early 70s, early 80s, and I'm like, what the hell is Bill Ward wearing? A leather jacket, no shirt, red tights. I don't know. So. Anyway, that's my number 19, Sabotage. All right, number 18. An album that kind of, well, it was a long time coming. A long time coming. It was the last release by Black Sabbath. Well, 2/3 of the original Sabbath. Released June 10th, 2013. We got the album 13. Which is kind of interesting. You know, it's like it's on fire. But that's about the only thing it's got going for us, you know, going for it. 13. Yeah, because it's 2013. I'm like, why couldn't you have named it something, you know, like the end of the beginning or Age of Reason, Live Forever, you know, Damaged Soul, Dear Father, you know, Methodemic, you know, come up with some little more better, you know, but like I said, it's kind of cool the way it moves. As far as the music is, it's okay. Not my, I don't listen to it. I have to be in a certain mood to listen to this album, but so the cover fits the music here, which is kind of bland. So, but you know, for the previous 4, it'd be dead last. So I guess I lucked out there. So anyway, that's my number 18. 13. Yeah, so 18, 13. Yeah. All right. There's another. Here's the first of the 2 live albums. Released June 1980. when it was recorded in 1973, March 11th, 1973, and March 16th, 1973, at the Hard Rock Concert Theatre in Manchester and the Rainbow Theatre in London. It is live at last. At last, Black Sabbath's live. Everybody be joyous. All the salutations to the world. Kind of interesting cover. Same on the back there. The moon. You got a little satellite thrown there, as if there's a satellite. Of course, there probably is a satellite circling the moon right now, but back, I don't think there was one back in 1973. But still, not bad. But not good either. So, I believe this was released by NEMS. Okay, it was released by the band's former manager, Patrick Meehan, who owned the rights to the recording. So, it's pretty good, music-wise, but I don't know. The album cover, okay, but still not up there. Maybe someday when I'm a little bit older, I might say, "Oh, this is pretty cool. I'll put that number one." Heaven forbid. So anyway, that's number 17, Live at Last. Alrighty then. Number 16, album that was released in September 1972 and was the number one album of Pete Pardo on Sea of Tranquility. Though he says recently Mass Reality is overtaking it. That album is Volume 4 of Vol 4. I remember when I first got this on 8-track. I sit there and I go, who the hell is that on the cover? Of course, it's Ozzy. But I'm like, what's he wearing? He looks weird. And I think there's some pictures in here. Yeah, 2 pictures. There's supposed to be 4 pictures, but only 2 of Geezer and Tony. I think on the original gatefold, they had Ozzy and Bill. In the back, they got a set of yellows, white of Ozzy. Good album. I can't remember what I ranked that as my album music, rankings music wise, but still, fantastic album. Really heavy. I know when I first heard it, I was like, well, this is really strange, strange music wise, but it's grown on me over the years. So, but anyway, the album cover, I don't know. And the title, I should do a ranking of titles. Maybe I'll do that one day. But Volume 4, could have come up with a different cover, maybe called it Wheels of Confusion. Tomorrow's Dream, that'd have been a good one. Supernaut, Snowblind, maybe Under the Sun. The band members sitting on a beach, sipping margaritas while going. So anyway, that's my number 16, Volume 4. Okay, this next album was their first album with a different singer. And also, later on, it would be included in a band called Heaven and Hell. Of course, the different singer was Ronnie James Dio. And the album, coming at number 15, Heaven and Hell. Now, I remember when I got this got this when it was on, I got it on vinyl. I'm looking at the cover, or back cover, and I'm like, I hadn't heard it yet. I'm like, is that Ozzy? But then I heard it, and I'm like, no, that's not Ozzy. This is totally different. Uh, the album cover, Heaven and Hell, some angels sitting around playing cards and smoking. Oh, it was released April 18th, 1980, by the way. Okay, but still, come on, guys. Come on. Something better to emphasize heaven and hell instead of a couple of token angels. So, but anyway, who knows? Could have been the record company said, "Oh, let's just do this." So, but anyway, that's my number 15, Heaven and Hell. Okay, this next album, and when it first came out, you should hate it when you get a hangnail. Seems to catch on everything. But when this next album came out, I was quite surprised, especially after the previous album hadn't done very good. And it kind of left Black Sabbath's destiny, or hit Black Sabbath up in the air. Uh, Released November 1987, The Eternal Idol. Now this album sleeve cover art is credited to Dave Spitz, the bass player at the time. Though the bass was actually played. Oh, wait a minute. I'm reading that wrong. It's not credited. The bass playing was actually credited to Dave Spitz, but Bob Daisley actually played the bass. So, kind of, it said the album sleeve erroneously credited Dave Spitz as a bass player. Did it? Did not know that. It was too small to. Good grief. Too small. I can't read it. But anyway. Again, we're starting to get into better territory here. Very interesting album cover. Of course, the first one was, I believe, Tony Martin. On vocals. And I think this is supposed to have Ray Gillen. Yeah, Ray Gillen was supposed to do the vocals on this because he'd been hired to replace. Pulling a break fart here. Glenn Hughes. But Ray decided to leave. Tony was hired. This is what came. Like I said, decent album cover. I love the music on this. The music is great. dark, foreboding, rocking, just a great debut for Tony. So, but still not the best album cover, but we're getting better here. Very interesting. So that's my number, what is that? Number 14. On to number 13. Okay. Number 13. Album released January 31st, 1994. I'm quite surprised. I remember it was The Hand That Brought the Cradle off this album that let me know that Sabbath was back with Tony Martin. That album is Cross Purposes. Again, not the best album cover, but not the worst. Kind of interesting. I like the back cover though. It looks like a face right there in the fire flame. I don't know if they manipulated or what. But still, foreboding, evil looking, an angel's wings on flame. And music wise, like I said, one of my favorites. Though the first portion of the album is strongest and it gets weak after that. So, but anyway, decent, still not the best cover. So that's my number 13. Okay, number 12. Album that, another album I absolutely love, the Tony Martin era. Released April 1989. I think this is the first album after the second album with Tony Martin on it. And that's Headless Cross. Again, not the best, but vastly better than what came before it. Simple, emphasizes what it's about. Of course, I think, this could have, seeing as how it's Headless Cross, they should have put this on the cover. But anyway, good album. Getting better on the album covers here. So that is my number 12, Headless Cross. All right, this next one, released August 20th, 1990. Wasn't well received by the Black Sabbath masses, but it's one of my favorites. Love it. Another great Tony Martin era album. Tear. Again, kind of interesting. Not the best, but I like it. I mean, down at the bottom here, you got, I guess, the Vikings and whoever battling it out. You got mounts in the background. Back cover's pretty good. And probably 90% of this album I just absolutely love, music wise. Probably more than that, 99%. So, but we're improving steadily here with the album covers. So anyway, that's my number 11. On to the top 10 here. All right. Released September 29th, 1978. An album that a lot of people don't like, including, I believe, Mr. Pardo on Steve Tranquility and some of his buddies, Chris Chris Allo and so on. But it's the second or third album I bought. I'm pretty sure it was the third album that I bought by Black Sabbath after we sold our soul for rock and roll. And that album is Never Say Die. A lot of people don't like the album cover. I think it's pretty cool. Of course, what it has to do with Never Say Die, I guess. Two pilots in front of a plane. Third pilot in the back. Got some cool drawings on the inside. Let's see here. And there's the whole plane. There's some cool drawings in the back, in the inside. But anyway, I don't know. I've always liked this album cover. It's not the best, but still, I think it's cool. And like I said, it was the third. I'm pretty sure it was the third album I bought. And I remember listening to this. Said I went and bought it at the store. I was during school when I was stuff in school. I remember sitting out in the parking lot at this is when I was living with my dad. And I was going to school at Ben Lomond High School. And we were sitting there listening to this album on 8-track, thinking, wow, this is vastly different from what was on Soul for Rock and Roll and Paranoid. So, but I liked it. I still love it to this day. A lot of people don't because it's so different. So, anyway, that's my number 10. Okay, number 9, released June 5th, 1995, the last album with Tony Martin on vocals, and that is Forbidden. Forbidden. You are forbidden. I think it's kind of a cool album. You open it up, and it's got, I just think that's pretty cool as heck. You got everybody that was involved with recording. Just you've got Ice-T. I think Ice-T right here. Tony Martin, Neil Murray, Cozy Powell, Jeff Nichols, Tony Iommi, some other people on there. I don't know who they are, but I think it's, the music. Oh, I don't know what they were trying to do. I think they were trying to update Sabbath's sound with this album, but they failed. I can't remember the last time I listened to this, but the album cover, excellent. It's a Sabbath cover. So, music sucks, but the cover doesn't. So, anyway, that's my number 9. On to number 8. Okay, number 8. One and only album with Ian Gillan on vocals. Released September 12th, 1983. Born Again. My horrible rendition of Ian Gillan's screaming vocals. A lot of people don't like this album cover. A lot of people do. I don't think it emphasizes perfectly what this album, the title says, Born Again. They are born again. There's the band, Tony, Geezer, Bill, and Ian. Fantastic album. That was kind of little muddy here and there on the sound, but still, excellent album. I love it. Another one of my favorites. So that's my number 8, Born Again. Okay, number 7, album released September 18th, 1970. Second album by Black Sabbath, and the first album I ever owned, thanks to my sister. And that is Paranoid. Now, again, a lot of people don't like this cover. I particularly like it. It's not their best, but it's even the back interesting. Probably the reason why a lot of people don't like it is because it's called Paranoid, but it's got a basic. Well, originally this album was supposed to be called War Pigs, but I think the uh, record company didn't like that title, and of course the story goes the title track was written at the last minute so they could have a full album. So a lot of people again don't like this album cover. I particularly do, especially seeing as how it's my first. Oh shoot! Ooh, God, this fell out because the thing's broke. People don't like it. So, but it's my, like I said, it's my first album by Black Sabbath. When I first heard this album, I did not understand what was going on. It was so heavy, so hard hitting. Of course, I was into Kiss and ELO and stuff like that, so it was a shocker. But first listen, I'm like, oh, I don't like this. Second listen, it started growing on me. So after a while, I went out, and that's when I bought "We Sold Our Soul for Rock and Roll" and "Never Say Die," and everything else followed. So anyway, that's my number 7, Paranoid. Okay, number 6, album released September 25th, 1976. Another album a lot of people don't like, but I particularly care for, and I particularly like the cover, and that is "Technical Ecstasy." I remember looking at this album, and I'm like, I guess they're supposed to be two robots in love. A lot of people think it sucks. I don't. Though it's still not the best. The best is yet to come. Music wise, I like this album. You could tell that Sabbath was trying to change up their sound. Uh, I know about this time they were kind of getting tired of the black side of the sound, the death, the evil sound. They wanted to do something different. So that's where Technical Ecstasy and Never Say Die come about. So anyway, that's my number 6, Technical Ecstasy. Okay, top 5 at 5. This next album, released January 1983, their first official live album, and their only official live album, as far as I know, with Ronnie James Dio. Well, no, I take that back because they did another album. Well, of course, that was Under Heaven and Hell, so never mind. Live Evil. They would do another live album with Ronnie as Heaven and Hell, but this is the first official Black Sabbath live album. this cover I just absolutely love. I mean, it emphasizes every single track on this album. You got uh, the first song, Neon Nights, right here. NIB, right here. Children of the Sea in the background here. I don't know if you can see them. Or where are they? They're right there. And also Children of the Grave, because they're in a casket. Voodoo, right here. Black Sabbath, right there. Black Figure. War Pigs, right there. Iron Man, right there. The Mob Rules, right here. Heaven and Hell. Heaven and Hell. Sign of the Southern Cross. There's a cross right there next to his left arm. A neon night. Paranoid. Children of the Grave, we already did that. And of course, Fluff. But everything, I just love it. Inside cover. I know Ronnie James Dio really got down on Geezer and Tony because Vinny Appice, Jeff Nichols, and him are, well, Ronnie, there's only two pictures of him in here. There's a bunch of Geezer and Tony. Vinny and Jeff, just two small pictures. So, of course, they'd already, Ronnie had already left the band before they put this out. So, that probably has something to do with him, and and Vinny had gone with them too to form Dio. But I just love that cover. It's fantastic. That's one of the reasons why I decided to include the live albums. So that's my number 5. Okay, number 4. We're really getting to the meat and potatoes here. The evil stuff. Album that was released November 1973. Oh, November. Another one of my favorites. Though when I first heard this, I didn't quite understand it. That is Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath. Great album cover. I mean, it just emphasizes what Sabbath's about. First, the back, original back cover. I remember when I first heard this album, the title song's heavy. Of course, then it gets really strange. National Acrobat, Sabbath, Cadabra, Killing Yourself to Live, Who Are You? But I still love all these songs. And the cover, fantastic. I mean, just remember looking at the cover and I'm like, ooh, they're naked. But they've been edited, so certain body parts are not visible, thank heaven. So, the women, you can show them all you want, but the men do. So, but anyway, that's my number 4, Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath. Alrighty. This next album, released June 22nd, 1992. again caught me by surprise. Vinny and Ronnie return to the fold. Dehumanizer. And when I heard this, I'm like, oh, right. Ronnie's back. Vinny's back. Tony and Geezer, where they should be. Love the cover. I mean, it just, a lot of people, well, not a lot, but some people don't care for it, but I think it's perfect. It emphasizes what this is about, the first song, Computer God, you know, waiting for the revolution, nuclear vision, genocide. But yeah, excellent album, excellent cover. Of course, there's guys on the back, a little bit. Of course, unfortunately, the reunion with Ronnie would be short-lived, and they wouldn't be back together until they decided to put heaven and hell together, and that would only last 2 albums, one live album and one studio, and Ronnie's would be taken from us. Too bad. Great man. Think about you, Ronnie. So anyway, that's my number 3, Dehumanizer. Okay. Now, my number 1 and number 2. Some people are probably going to wonder why I did this, but, this is the way I feel about it. Number 2. Now when they're released, February 13th, 1970, their debut, Black Sabbath. Now, some people are saying, Davies, how can you put this at number 2? Well, quite simple. Even though it's an excellent album, I think my number 1, which you know what's coming, I think is a little bit, just a tad better. Though this one is just classic. Classic. If it wasn't for what's to come, this would be my number 1. But just evil looking. Even the back. Just, it's like you can be out, like you're out in the woods and you're going through the forest, and all of a sudden you just come across this building. I think there was a mill or something. And then right in front of you, there's this figure dressed in black, just looking at you, staring at you like, come, my pretty, come to my abode. And that's when you turn around and run. Great album, great music. That's my number 2. Of course, you know what my number 1 is. If I can find it here. Released November 4th, 1981. God, November again. Mob Rules. That cover is just evil. Excellent. Of course, the last album with Ronnie until Dehumanizer. What was going on with Ronnie and the others is just, I don't know. You only want the first album with Vinny on drums, but I just love that cover. Just mysterious, who are these creatures with the hoods and stuff? And what are they doing? Who are they whipping on the other side of that white sheet that's all bloody? Got a evil face on it, The mob rules. love this album too. Love it. So anyway, there you have it. The cover art of Black Sabbath Ranked. Hope you enjoyed that. I just miss talking about music, miss talking about all this neat stuff. Oh, hope this week goes good. I really do. Got some things going on. So, anyway, if everything goes good, you'll see me next Monday. Doesn't, I don't know. Anyway, have a good one and have a good week. Hope you had, like I said, I hope you had all the Thanksgiving here, good Thanksgiving here in the United States. And keep trekking, keep going. No matter what the world throws at you, keep going. So, till we see you, have a good one.